pivot to the Colorado Buffaloes, man. Coach Prime and the Buffs once again at that transfer market supermarket, should I say, transfer supermarket, right?
Mm-hmm.
For him and his staff. We saw footage of Coach Brennan in the office and them they're doing work, major work up there. 42, I think the number is right now, of signees that the Buffs has brought in. So, hey man, pretty much reloaded, Uncle Neely.
Yeah, and I pretty much got to say I told you so. Because it's a positive I told you so. And the reason I got to say I told you so is because had he missed in the portal, the haters would be saying I told you so. Because y'all wanted the man to fail. And what we told y'all with clarity, what we told y'all with in a succinct manner, with no ambiguity, giving you all the ACT words of the day tonight.
You feel me?
Is that Coach Prime knows the portal and he doesn't panic with the portal because he knows this is not about getting the best of this or the best of that. It's about getting the best of what you need. And who better than Deion Sanders to know the needs of his team? Although some of y'all cried that he didn't when he took full accountability for the failures of the team. And he decreed and vowed and promised that what happened this past year would not happen again. So who better to have the shopping list, the grocery cart, and going down the aisles and getting what he knows he needs, believes he needs. And he got Pretty Tony, and he got Box, and he got the OC and the DC. And what we told y'all was going to happen, happened.
Mm-hmm.
He replaced everything that went out. And also, from a statistical production standpoint, upgraded it, all while spending less than what would have been required to keep some of the people. I call that a win.
Sound like some smart shopping right there too, dog.
That's what I call it.
Yeah, man. You talking about 42 incoming transfers. Lot of. Am I still on? Okay.
Yeah.
Got a lot of 3 stars coming in. That's what teams are built on, the 3 stars out there, Uncle Neely. You know, talk about just the ratings and the rankings and how Coach Prime is not really going off of that.
You want to know the truth, the facts? Oh, Uncle always tell y'all the best indicator of future performance is past performance. A lot of these people that y'all cried tears that were leaving, you didn't know them a year ago, 2 years ago. They were 2 and 3 stars that Coach Prime went and found, coached them up, made them household names, put them in a position where their value increased. So if he did it before, why wouldn't I think he could do it again? That's right, Don Duncan. Succinct and ambiguity in the same sentence.
Killing them.
Because that's what this man has done. I can remember when the portal first started, he was at Jack State and he brought in all these folks and everybody, I remember 2 years after that when he goes to Colorado and flips entire roster, now everybody does it the way he does it.
Yep.
And even with the quote-unquote exit of Jordan Seaton to the portal, when everybody was, what Prime saw was, hey, man, I was headed to the checkout aisle.
You ain't lying.
But I just got a notification on my phone that they done put some more money back in my account. I can do some more shopping.
That's exactly what went on too, dog. You got some ballers out there,
Went out there, picked up another running back, picked up a couple of D tackles, picked up another offensive lineman.
Yep. And not just anyone. He got the one that Jordan even reached out to. Jordan Seaton's cousin has now joined Colorado, big fella, red shirted, 6'3", 295 pounds. And you saw Jordan tweet about him, and Javon McFadden will be joining the Colorado Buffaloes.
Chico, you want to be real, Chico?
Be real about it, huh?
You want to be really real as Black Bush.
They might get mad at you now. They might get mad at you for being real.
They gonna get mad. They love getting mad.
All right. Go ahead, then. Say what you got to say, on. Just know that they might clip it and run it.
How bad of an experience could Jordan Seaton have really had? Is right before he left, he recruited his cousin, and even when he decided to leave, his cousin still came. How bad of an experience could it really been If he reached out to his cousin, said, "Man, hey, let's play together," and then he's like, "Oh man, let me go. I think I got a big offer here. Let me go test the water," and his cousin still came. Come
Mm.
on, dog. Y'all just, I'm telling you, it's like Chico, it's this psychosis, man. It's a sickness. This desire to see Deion Sanders fail. And to a degree that just overwhelms logic, conventional wisdom,
Mm.
facts, recent occurrences, patterns. You dismiss all that to go like, man, I want this to so not work that I'm not going to pay attention to logic.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I say the same thing, Chico, about when receivers were departing, as receivers were coming, keep that in mind. They saw what was coming as they were departing. And here you have a new offense coordinator, right?
Yeah, all right.
And he's not running a system that he learned from a coaching tree. He's running a system that he created.
Right.
You don't think he would have the wherewithal, the cachet, the power, the confidence to say to Coach Prime, no, man, whatever that guy's asking, we need to do all we can to keep him. I need him for this system.
Yeah. And I
If
think
he's
Coach Prime
comfortable with
recognizes
somebody
that.
leaving and he's excited about what's coming in and it's his damn system, y'all would, if Phil Jackson lost somebody in the triangle and was picking somebody up and was smiling, y'all would be celebrating. If Phil know what he's doing.
Yep.
But when it's a brother, all this doubt come in.
Yep.
Come on, y'all.
Same
Stop it.
thing. Same thing.
Stop
The
it.
reason why you could have a Craig Hodges and then the BJ Armstrong and then the John Paxson and then the Steve Kerr and everybody knows their name and they were all successful with what they were doing. They played the same position. You had guys like Luke Longley, Bill Winnington, Bill Cartwright,
No name
Scott
university.
King. Yeah, no name university, but the coach knew how to pick those players to fill those positions that he needed in his system to do the dirty work or the jobs that's going to help this system run and keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's not just any. If that was, listen, man. Why do they have all these different type of oils in the auto zones and stores and stuff? Right? You can't just go in there and pick any type of oil, right? It's still oil.
You got to get the oil for you, what you
You gotta
drive.
get the oil.
And not only oil, hold on, we break down a little further, Chico.
Bring it on down, dog.
You got to get the oil for what you drive. And you also got to get the oil for how you drive what you drive.
The make and model, everything, dog. How you drive. If you're gonna be rough on it,
and where you driving at.
Yeah. The high mileage, dog.
That same motor oil in the same car in Arizona don't work like the same motor oil in the same car in Alaska.
You ain't lying. And as a matter of fact, I remember Unc back in the day. I had this lawnmower Unc.
Yeah.
And I was about to load that thing with some regular gas. I ain't know no better. I was a young kid.
You're gonna cut about 10 feet of that yard.
Man, I was about to blow something up with it. My
Yeah,
uncle
yeah,
came out there and
yeah,
said, "No, dog, you need some oil up in that thing." I said,
you
"What
gotta
is
get 3-1 mix, baby. You gotta
get a mix? What is it? 3-1 or 1-1? Whatever it was."
Mix,
I was like, "What the hell is that?" I'm about to blow something up out here, baby. But yeah, hey, you got to have the right things, man. If you want things to run correctly, that was the case. You could put water in your car and it'll run. It doesn't work like that.
Hey, Patrick Williams, there will be emphasis on running the ball because the go-go offense loves to have two backs back there when you look at the way that offense is set up at times. And as it relates to being done in the portal, we're not going to be done in the portal until the portal official closes. And the portal won't officially close till next Friday at about 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Because keep in mind, there are two teams that play tomorrow night, and those two teams have an additional 5 days for the portal.
Right. And speaking of those two teams, one of those teams, Indiana, Coach Prime was able to pluck DB Jaja Boyd from. He's committed to Colorado, 5'11", 190-pounder. Played in 6 games at safety as a redshirt freshman. Had 8 tackles, forced fumble from JMU, former JMU commit, of course, with Coach Kirk Signetti, and he ended up going up there to IU also. So he has 3 years of eligibility left. Going to be another depth piece for the Buffs at the wide receiver position. And I'm
Gotta
sorry,
be deep in that
DB
room,
position.
man. No, I'm right with you.
Yeah.
Recognize your error. Thank you for that. But the DB room and the wide receiver room, you have to have depth going into the spring or summer because here's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody going to have a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to practice, got to be able to put in your installs, got to be able to play the spring game. So you got to operate on special teams. Those two rooms have to be deep.
Yeah, got to, dog. And hey, if you're gonna have situation where you lose so many guys off of your football team, and now you can hand pick them, and now you're bringing in guys. If you look at their rankings, their stats, like I said before, it's production over potential in most cases. And I think Coach Prime has done an amazing job, man. Him and the whole staff. Shout out to Pretty Tony. Shout out to Box. Shout out to Coach Brandon Marion, Coach Rob Livingston, and everybody else on the staff, dog. Chuck,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your concerns as far as retooling our whole roster of college football these days? Like, what would be your concern going into that? If you saw you have 40 plus guys leaving your program, what are you thinking?
And this I have to give kudos to Neely with regards to his commentary the other day on the Morning Wood. I used to look at that in a different manner, but it's an opportunity cost now. When you start kind of taking a look at the fact that you lose X amount of players, but that allocates money to positions that you might need somewhere else. So it was a very novel way, very educational way to sort of retrain your mind in terms of how you look at the transfer portal, because one of the things you look at, and by human nature, you start taking a look at what you've lost, but you never really stop and think about, well, wait a second, this is money that's actually freed up that we can put at this position, that we can put at this position, that we can put at this position. And we've seen one of the things with Coach Prime is he's been masterful in terms of since this thing started, this transfer portal, phenomena started, the lay of the land, college athletics as what we know it. He's been masterful in terms of putting teams together. I think, everybody's allowed a once off, which obviously last year would have been, but I have no doubt in my mind that this team is going to bounce back and be right back in the thick of things this upcoming season because, it's almost as though you give this individual an opportunity to look and see what the needs are and address the needs, address the wants, and go back out and put the team out there that we've come to know and love with regards to what Coach Prime has been able to do. And like I said, I've never not seen him be put himself in a successful position. And that sort of gives you confidence going into the season.
Exactly. Hey, I will say this. What I'm excited about, like I said before on past shows, is the fact that Coach Prime has been able to really, really see and vet these guys from the start to the finish, parents and background wise. Because if you really paid attention to what he was saying, in previous seasons when he bring guys in, it would always be that he would understand the why and what makes these guys tick, and that way you can respond to them and coach them in a certain way, like particular to them, to each player, rather than trying to coach everybody the same. You know what I mean? Anybody who's been around sports know that you coach everybody differently. Everybody's treated fairly, but you're treated differently, so to speak, And I think if you know the players that you have and you've been able to pick these guys, you can now understand what makes them tick, what makes them go, their motivation, and you can coach them, from that perspective. You know what I mean? And that I think will lead to better understanding, less distractions, and a less chance that you have a cancer in the room that you didn't know about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because those things that can hurt a football team, especially when you're facing that adversity that's going to definitely come during the season.
And I probably started looking at college football in much the way I look at the pros, in sort of when you are quote unquote free agent shopping, you bring guys in that's going to fit the personality of the team. And you're starting to sort of retrain your mind to sort of block out the nostalgia as much as you can and understand this is the lay of the land with regards to college athletics, college football, especially. So you're sort of roster churning or roster shaping something that that this is what I'm expecting to be out here on the field, and this is something that I'm bringing in guys that who want to be part of this program and take it to the next level. And
Right.
I think it's sort of just phenomenal to sit back and be in this day and age of college athletics and watch how these I'm not going to call them employees. I'm going to call them athletes. How you bring these individuals in and how they shape maybe the next 2-3 years of an administration of what you have on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, excited about it, man. It mixed the transfers in to the guys that's remaining on the team for Colorado, which is not a whole bunch of them, but it's a select few that I think Coach Prime is allowing to be around, welcoming around the team, and to stay there on the team because of what they bring to the team.
Absolutely.
Understand this, Chuck and Chico. I think y'all did an excellent breakdown right there. But understand this: regardless of the number of players that remain anywhere, there's no player bigger than the organization. And the organization, via its head coach, is where the culture starts and stops. When you talk about, for instance, Mike Tomlin, who just departed the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers had a culture that was before Tomlin and a culture that is after Tomlin. And the owners of the Steelers, they hire coaches that fit that culture. Those coaches go select players that fit that culture. And so 5, 10, 15 years from now, when you have nobody on the team that used to be on the team, they all still fit the team because you selected people based on the culture. And I think one of the things that Coach Prime always does is he looks for those guys, that fit the way he played ball, and wants his players to play. Now, sometimes because of health issues in the past, because of taking a gamble here and there, you miss. But I agree with you, Chico. I think the due diligence this year, him being present, him being directly hands-on, him saying on the morning run specifically to us and our audience, no, I'm not just the last saying who make it, I'm the first say who make it. I'm involved in the whole process this go around because as we start to show off, this is the guy who took total responsibility for those 3 wins and 9 losses. And this is the guy who said it will never happen again. So this is the guy with the shopping cart, pushing it down the aisle, picking what he needs for it not to happen again. All of those data points skew things in the direction of it ain't gonna happen again. Because the best indicator of past performance or future performance is past performance. And when you look at Coach Prime's track record, be it the NFL, be it coaching college football, no one has gotten it right more than he has when he's given time to get it right. And one thing he's had this time is time. And then he's blessed with, we ain't got to do this again in April and May like we had the past couple of years.
Yeah.
There is no second portal. I got who I want now. They're going to be with me now. Let's get to work. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I think the naysayers are going to have to just shut up because the last thing they want to say is I was wrong and he was right. So they're just going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question in terms of Coach Prime's presence in the off season. How massive do you think that is? And it doesn't take anything away from the staff, but just his presence during this time period within the off season.
Well, I want to answer that carefully, Chuck.
Okay.
Because we have to keep in mind this time last year he was present.
Mm-hmm.
He was only unpresent during strength and conditioning, which would have been last, June, July. He was there spring ball, right? He was there all through spring ball, and his absence last year, which we now know were due to his fighting cancer and going through those surgeries, et cetera, was just during the time of football schedule where coaches can't coach anyway. They're solely with the strength and conditioning program. But I will say this to answer your question, now that I framed the narrative, I had no idea, and maybe Chico or y'all can see it differently or the same. Looking back on the 2020 vision, I had no idea how much his absence then would have impacted things, but clearly it did, because just being in the building, you know what I mean? You set the
Yeah.
tone. You're having conversations at the water cooler. You're having lunch with people, even though you're not directly coaching at the time. And that's one of those things that you just look forward to this year, that, he's there. Even though this time period right now still represents the same time period last year that he was there, there are no indicators that he's going to miss any going forward. So I think, man, he's put together a dangerous roster. I think he got what he needed in the portal, replaced what he lost, and then some. And now it's just time to put foot to grass, hands to weights, and then this fall put belt to ass.
Interesting.
Can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the talent come together. Honestly, and I think is when you look at the guys that left, the players that left, the amount of players that left, and then you go and get and recoup with these guys that you're bringing in right now. I think if you look at the video, the promo video that's been put out there on these guys, and the way they're speaking and what they're saying, is like what Chuck said. These guys want to be here. They're excited to be here and come play for Coach Prime. And I think that's going to make all the difference in the world. Guys who really want to be here, know what they're there for, and they want to come and be a part of that fabric that Coach Prime has shown for the last few years that he provides for his players. And it's something different.
Man, I had a great conversation today, Chico, with Michael Westbrook. He called this morning. He said he had been seeing some clips out there from the time with us and what a time he had, and said great interview, et cetera, et cetera. So then we just spent next 20 minutes or so just chopping it up about CU football.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the portal and this and that. And I brought up to him something that I've brought up and people have pushed back on me about, that these players of today are not married to the nostalgia like we used to have. And he was like, yeah, Neely, I don't like it, but I mean, you're exactly right. He said, when I was in year 3, I had 3 years of the school song. Yeah. These guys are in year 3 and have had 3 different school songs.
Right.
And I said, like, man, you can push it, you can try to manufacture it, but it's not organic anymore, because that's not the mindset of what people are moving around for. Period. And so what Chuck said earlier, I thought set the tone for this conversation we're now having, because in this modern era, you do have to divorce your mind from the nostalgia of what you remember college football to be. And if you can't embrace it, at least understand what college football has become.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, Chico, I deal in 2 silos: understanding and agreement. We don't have to be friends, right, and agree all the time, as long as I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that go on in college football I don't agree with. I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. This is where we are. And it ain't going back. We created this system out of an emergency response mode. And now that we're here, we're going to have to identify down the road some guardrails to it. But right now, this is now more business than it has ever been, man.
Let me say this too, off of that, because for one, to go back on what you originally said, was people are not transferring what'd you say? People are not transferring to sing a fight song, right?
Period.
That's not what they're transferring for. Like, I'm not going to Upstate University for their fight song. Right? Period. Now, having said that, if we win, or when we win some games, will we sing a fight song?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But did I transfer for that reason?
Absolutely not. No one is picking Colorado solely, or even in the top 5 reasons, so they can run behind Ralphie.
Well, that brings up an interesting question.
20 years ago, that might have been one of the top reasons.
It does bring up an interesting question because the question that I ask on a consistent basis now is there a way to marry the nostalgia with the business of college athletics now? We all want to see the Notre Dame players tapped up, play like a champion today.
And
We
they're
all
all
want
going
to
to
see
do it. That's
Win.
part of the culture there. They're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're not talking, Chuck. Here's what's going to marry it is what happens when you get there automatically. What we're talking about is we're not saying Ralph is going to stop running. We're saying, hey, we have to really understand these kids ain't coming here to run behind Ralphie.
And that's just simple as that. It's a different.
Are we going to run behind Ralphie? Yes.
Yes.
But when you talk to an 11th grader from Selma, Alabama, and ask him, does he want to play in Colorado? He's going to talk to you about Coach Prime and going to the NFL.
Sure.
He's going to talk to you about Travis Hunter and Shador. He's not going to say, I want to go there because I want to sing a song and run behind Ralphie.
Sure.
Yeah.
What used to be a carrot on the stick 30, 40, 50 years ago is not the carrot on the stick in 2026.
Absolutely.
And we're not saying that when you get there, you're not going to eat that carrot and enjoy that carrot and fall in love with that carrot because that's what winning breeds. It's just not the marketing tool that it once was. Kids want to know where I'm going to sleep, where I'm going to eat, what I'm going to get paid, and am I going to the league?
Simple as that. And the league these days is playing football, or as Coach Prime say, become a professional in your field. And I guarantee you, there are some guys out there that'll take that because you know what, man? Listen, everybody ain't going pro, dog.
Nope.
Period. Leave it at that. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, all the other good stuff. You're going to be up and up out this mother. Hey, you feel me? Let's go. It's Uncle Chico live. You be you. Yes, sir. Uncle Chico, Sunday Night Live. Live and direct.
It's another Sunday night. It's another Sunday night. Another Sunday night live with Unc and Big Dog Chico.
It's another one. It's another one, baby. It's another one.
Another Sunday night live with Unc and Big Dog. With Unc and Big Dog. With Unc and Big Dog.
So get ready for it.
Another Sunday night live. Unc and Big Dog Chico.